bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsmen Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to one more, not segment, because we're going a little bit longer with Monterey. You get to be the cleanup hitter on these Monday nights now. You guys get a few extra minutes. So
nice.
You're setting the tone here. Jill Snyder and Josh Davis will have to thank you for that. So, Judd Thrash, Monterey football coach. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. It's the high school fan zone on Monday night. We're in the Plainsmen fan zone now. One more reminder, things have changed a little bit since it's after Thanksgiving. Monday nights will be the 4 LISD schools. Will be Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey in that order. Every Monday. No Tuesday show. Wednesday night will be Friendship, Lubbock, Cooper, and Liberty. Keep Tuesday night open for basketball, which is good for you guys because you have pretty good girls basketball team, pretty good player, a lot of good players, but two really good players out there at Monterey.
No doubt. Miss Chavez, she's a player now. She's something else. If you haven't watched her, you definitely got to get out and watch her, man. She's one of the best. I mean, she's one of the best. She's awesome to watch. She's good for our school. Yep. She carries herself well. I love when we're practicing football. She's always outside watching us. So she's a big football fan. She's been a big supporter of our football program, and she's just a real humble girl, man.
Yeah, she is.
She does a lot for our school. So
your principal, and I've told him this, at the summer assembly you guys had to honor her. One of the first things Jack Perkypile talked about was forget all the basketball stuff. She's a good kid.
No doubt.
And I don't know if you watched the night when she and Ambrosia came in your bye week, and I told her this story. For people who now you see Aaliyah on the court, and she's hard-nosed and she's competitive. And that's the way athletes should be. That's a different person off the court. Last year at a game, my elderly mother-in-law slipped a little bit going up the steps in the box, and Aaliyah, without anybody saying, "Go help that woman," Aaliyah stopped and helped my mother-in-law get to her seat. And that's stuff people don't see about kids sometimes.
Oh, no doubt. She's top-notch for sure.
And then Ambrosia, a lot of people don't understand, Ambrosia may be the second best player that's ever put a basketball uniform on at Monterey High School in girls basketball. Gets overshadowed a little bit by Aaliyah, but that young lady can play, and she's a good person as well. Yeah,
it's going to be exciting to watch them. I think they'll definitely be a contender for the state championship. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
That is their absolute goal, and that's something that you guys have building in football at Monterey. And I'm glad that you had time to come on tonight. I wanted to talk about your season and what you guys did. And I think I told you that day on the field at ACU. Lubbock School stood tall that weekend. Estacado struggled a little bit, but the other Lubbock, you and the other Lubbock schools stood tall against the mighty Metroplex. You guys all, and that includes you guys against Denton Ryan, had a chance to do some things. We're right there with them, and I think I mentioned one of your, maybe Luke or L.A., you got their attention. They knew they were in a game afterward.
Well, it's like I tell our kids all the time, we train like the Metroplex at Monterey. A lot of people don't understand, if you haven't been in some of those top-notch programs, they don't know what it takes. It takes hard work. It takes a lot of hours. Those kids in those schools are working all summer long. When I got to Monterey, it was not like that. And so if you haven't been there and you're not familiar with what the winning teams are doing right now, you don't understand it. And so that's what I told our kids going into the game. I said, guys, you train like the state champions train. I've been at, Lake Travis. I've been at Westlake. I've been at Duncanville. I know what they do. And I know what Denton Ryan does. And if you're going to compete on the field and have a chance to win against those guys, you got to take it serious. I mean, it can't be this after football season, I turn in my pads and we just don't work hard. Nothing that you gain in life is going to be done without hard work. It's as simple as that. I mean, you can, because, people that are not familiar with the work ethic don't really understand it. And so I think our kids understand it. Like today, we didn't have a weight room session planned. I walked in after school, and that weight room was packed. And so I was like, this is different. Yep. It's different. Now there's an expectation, and they understand what it takes. And so that was nice to see. I mean, I didn't call the weight session. It was just packed full of kids. And I didn't have to go chase them down. They were just in there.
It's one thing that hadn't changed over time. High school kids they're smart enough that if they see something that is working and that is going to be fun, they figure out they want to be part of it.
Oh, no question.
The Denton Ryan game, we'll talk a little bit about that. And I've talked to a couple of your dads, and I think there was some initial, I don't know if it's called visual shock, when they walked out on the field, and I'm sure you told them the week before, these guys are big. They're big and bigger than us. They got it. But until you walk out there and see, yeah, they are pretty big. It's a little bit of a culture shock. In that first offensive series, I think your guys kind of get popped in the mouth once, and after that, they stood toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, we had to settle in. We started off a little nervous. If you haven't been there before, you're going to be nervous. And so we had some nerves. And there's one thing that it's haunted me. It's bothered me all over since the break. And it was when we got the fumble. We caused the fumble on the 1 yard line. Yes. It was 20-13. We were backed up on our one. We took possession. It was 20-13. And I knew we should have thrown the ball, and I didn't call timeout. I kept saying on our headset, like, I need to call timeout, because I watched Denton Ryan play Alito. Denton Ryan had the ball at the 1. They ran inside zone. They bounced it, and Alito got a safety. It kept playing over and over in my head, and I've seen that. When you play a good front four, you gotta throw it to get it out of the end zone, or they're going to split the creases. And I just knew it, and I didn't call timeout for whatever reason. And that's kind of sat with me, because if we get it out of there, getting that turnover, the momentum of the game kind of shifted when we got that turnover. Yes. And then when they got that safety, that was the turning point in the game. But it really comes down to 3 plays. We had it inside the 5 twice and didn't score, and then we probably should have got the ball out of that area right there. It comes down to those 3 things, and then stopping them on that last possession as well. So we were right there with them, toe to toe. I think we were picked to get beat by 30, 35 points. People didn't expect us to play with them like that. They've only been held to 27 points. I don't count the 2 for the safety, but we held their offense to 27 points. There's only one other team in the state that's done that, and that's Alito.
Yep, and that's a pretty good team too.
Yeah,
I'm not going to name any names, but in the press box there was a lot of banter about how bad do you think this will be? Will they stay within 5 touchdowns? And I keep quiet. I'm an old dude. I just keep quiet when that comes up. So I let them talk. But I was thinking, I bet it's not going to be 5 touchdowns. So.
Yeah, and it was good. Our kids were right there, 20-13 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. You saw big plays out of Landon Hibbert and Cam Taylor, and Luke Arrington played well. Yeah, our offense did some really good things.
We'll talk about Luke in his last game. So we'll come back after this break on the Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Keeping you up to date on the Monterey Plainsmen. This is the Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I just, out of habit, I looked over at the board to see what games were going to be on the air this week. I've got to start breaking those habits. Football season's over, which when you walked in, you pointed out it's a weird feeling for coach. I don't know. Do you think it's as weird a feeling for the kids as it is for coaches? Because I was out at Friendship today, and kids were just being kids, but then I looked at Jay Northcutt, and I think he was a little bit lost into what he was supposed to be doing at this time of year.
Yeah, well, the week we played, we're preparing for Denton Ryan. I put after practice one day, I went through like what it looks like. I talked to him about how the lockers are emptied out, you're throwing everything away, and then the seniors, they depart, and they go their separate ways, and they don't get to see their buddies all the time because they have outs at 8th period. And today they walked in and they were like, wow, it hit them. And so I try to tell them, that's what you're playing for, is to keep the family together. And so they, it was funny, after school, we had like 5 or 6 of them. They just wouldn't go home. And they were like, what do we do with ourselves? They just were lost. And so you've done it for so long, especially the way we do it. We always got something going. And so those kids, they were just like, man, this has been my life. And now they have all this free time and they're not around their buddies, and it's just a different vibe. And so it's a hard adjustment, for the kids and the coaches. It's hard. I always talk about there's an acclimation period that goes on right after football. People's wives have to get used to them because, they're used to being so busy, and then you're so antsy once you go home. They're like, get out of here, because they're not used to you just having that downtime. So there's definitely a lot of changes that go on once football ends.
I may have told you this before. Sports writers have very much we're very similar to coaches because it's the same thing. And I'm married to a teacher, so it hasn't hit yet because of Thanksgiving break. But in the next week or two, I'll be at home one of these nights. It should be like, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be out covering something? I'll be gone soon enough.
No doubt.
Roy Williams is one of my favorite coaches of any sports of all time, and he used to always get real emotional at the end of the season, win or lose, when they won some after he got to North Carolina, and people criticized him for it, and he explained it. As a coach, it hits you that I never get to coach this group together again. And that's hard. That tugs at your heart a little bit when that starts to sink in a little bit.
No doubt. I told L.A. Williams today and Daz Williams, I said, man, I don't get to chase y'all around anymore. A million texts, a million phone calls. Hey, man, where you at? They're like your kid. And all of a sudden, they graduate and move on, and it's different. They're not around anymore. And so there's adjustments to be made for sure. And L.A. goes, you still got my little brother to chase around. I said, yeah, I do.
Well, you get L.A. to help with that, though.
Yeah, no doubt. So,
well, we talked right before the break about what you guys did offensively, and you guys have had huge moments all season on offense. I think if the math was right, you were averaging 50 points in that during your winning streak. You didn't get to 50 against Denton Ryan, which, like you said, not many teams get to 20 against them. But I thought that was one of your better offensive games in how you executed against a team that well. And I thought Luke Arrington was a big part of that. I've seen that kid play a lot of football the last couple of years, and that was about as good as he's been.
Oh, yeah, he was on point. He put some balls in some tough places. And he stood tall in the pocket. And what was crazy? He only got sacked one time. That's a credit to him and that offensive line. They wanted a challenge to go up against that defensive front, and they did good. I went and watched Denton Ryan this Saturday against Richland, and our guys, were right there with them, and that says a credit. How far we've come. Like you said, a lot of people coming into the game thought they were just going to have their way with us, but no, they didn't. We stood tall, and we made it a game, and so that's a credit to our kids and our coaches. Coach Sims has done a great job with that offense, and we got a lot of guys coming back. It's going to be exciting. We got, now they have a taste of what it takes, and it takes what it takes. And our kids know that. That's why that weight room was packed today. And so they have that taste in their mouth. And, one of the younger kids told me today, he said, Coach, man, we can go toe-to-toe with them. They believe it after that game. They know we can play right there with them. And so they're looking forward to the next season. They want to get to play Denton Ryan or Aledo. They're not backing down from it, so that was good to hear. That those younger kids saying that.
Sometimes also I think it takes kids seeing that. Okay, you get that first round game, and this is not any disrespect towards the El Paso schools, but you guys handled them. Everybody handled the El Paso schools fairly well, but then you realize you got to ratchet things up way to a different level, and now if you get past that second level, then you can start getting some confidence going, and you've got a chance to hang around for a while.
Yeah, there's no question. We jumped a lot of milestones this year. I can remember when I first arrived at Monterey, we were scared to death of Tascosa. I can remember I showed them the Buster Douglas Mike Tyson fight before we got on the field. I think they were ranked number 8. We come in and take them toe to toe. They beat us by a touchdown my first year, and then the second year we were up 14-0. We were close, but it was, man, they beat us by 60 points or whatever. We were scared to death of them, and we beat them this year. Abilene High was the same way, and we beat them this year. So we jumped big hurdles. Amarillo High, we've never been close to beating them years past, and we don't have those 3 turnovers in that one quarter. We beat them, and we notched them out for the district title. And then now it's Denton Ryan. They everybody talks about, hey, they're going to beat y'all by 4 touchdowns, and then we played right there with them. And so our kids right now are believing that they're one of the best, and that's what you got to do. The teams that win year in, year out, they have a high level of confidence, just like you said.
Yep. And we're going to talk one more segment with Judd Thrash of Monterey and the Plainsmen Fan Zone after this break on 100.7 The Score.
The Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. Game on, Plainsmen.
Welcome back to one more segment of the Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'll remind everybody one more time that the schedule has shifted a little bit post-Thanksgiving. We will only have shows Monday and then Wednesday, so we're moving the furniture around a little bit on the deck of the Titanic here. Monday night will be the 4 LISD schools in order. Every Monday night will be Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey. Wednesday nights will be Friendship, Lubbock, Cooper, and Liberty. Tuesday nights we leave open for basketball because I believe we will have some games on Raymar's there. I think David Thetford may just ride off into the sunset sometimes after football. I told you I better not say it out loud, but maybe he's got another trip to Oklahoma coming. I will see. He didn't enjoy that trip to Oklahoma that much. Yeah. So you guys enjoyed some of it, but and I'm teasing, but I said this to another coach today. That tested you guys' souls a little bit, but I thought that was a good tone setter for you guys too. Going out to Choctaw, Oklahoma to open the season and playing well. Came home with a loss, but came back with some experience and knowledge.
Oh man, we got everything we needed out of that game. High level of talent, good quarterback, good O-line, D-line, good running backs. And it's funny, I texted that coach, I think it was right after the Denton Ryan game, and wished him luck on the rest of the season. I said, hey man, I just appreciate you playing us. I said, you got our team ready for a high level of competition. And I said, I appreciate that. And he said, yeah, coach, I look forward to coming to Lubbock to playing you guys again. I said, man, I just can't thank you enough, because we needed to see that speed. We needed to see that size. I mean, it got us ready, even though we didn't win the game, it got us ready. And so that was, thank Coach Meeks for allowing us to play those guys and Lubbock ISD, because it really helped us out.
The Choctaw Yellow Jackets are still alive. They're 10-2, and they play Muskogee this Saturday. And I don't know how deep that is in the Oklahoma playoffs. I don't think they play as many rounds as Texas. But I do know, strangely enough, I know that Muskogee's a really good program out in Oklahoma. So they must be pretty deep in the playoffs. They must have gained something from playing you guys too.
Oh, he said that, the head coach. He said, man, coach, same here, man. We got a lot out of that game. So we were both really, thanking one another for us playing each other. It really helped both teams.
Well, I know after they played you, they played Gardner Edgerton out of Kansas, and that Gardner Edgerton just won the 6A state championship in Kansas. So it's a good one. Hey, I know a lot of people wondered about the first week of the season when you guys went to Oklahoma. Friendship played, Byron Nelson, Lubbock Cooper played Lucas Lovejoy, and they were said, well, why are they go? Because those games help. Because you travel when you get to the playoffs, yes, and you're playing teams that you're not familiar with, and so it's good. We've always played Friendship or this, and I just felt like in order for us to have a better postseason or have a better shot at district, we need to go play somebody that we're not familiar with and get used to traveling, getting used to playing a team we don't see, and it did exactly that. We got everything we needed out of it. And the simple facts are probably 4 years from now, if not sooner, all these teams in Lubbock are going to wind up in the same district anyway. You're going to have relationships with schools that you can say, hey, I need a non-district game. Let's play. Yeah, that you've coached enough places where I'm sure you know enough people that there could be some more games like that in Monterey's future.
Yeah, no question. It was either Choctaw or Euless Trinity.
That's not a bad program.
Yeah, for sure. And so, hopefully we get to continue to play people like that will test us. We need that, in order to become a good program. And you have to play people, just like at Duncanville. We played IMG in Mater Dei, and they tested us. They beat us. Both teams beat us, but they tested us and got us ready to, for postseason play. And, we went on and played in the state championship game, but we needed to see that caliber of a team to get ready for North Shore.
Well, and I know it's very cliche, and coaches use a lot of cliches, but the old iron sharpens iron thing, I think, really materialized with Lubbock football this year. With you three teams I mentioned, Lubbock Christian played an incredible schedule for a TAPS team and played in the state semifinals. It's just good to see good teams in Lubbock wanting to get better by playing good teams and it paying off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can remember when I first got to Colleyville Heritage, Coach Willis, he's now at Crosby. We were at Colleyville. We scheduled Southlake, Euless Trinity, and I can't remember who else, but it was a hard pre-district, and we ended up winning district. We lost all the pre-district games and won district because those tough games got us ready. You guys set a lot of precedents for yourselves, and I think everybody in Lubbock, you and Estacado both started out 1-4. Both got hot, won your district, won a playoff game. So I think
I don't know if you meant to help Coronado and Lubbock High and some of those teams. I think you guys have shown those other programs that you may start off slow, but if you can kind of find that rhythm, you're going to be okay as the season goes along.
Yeah, there's no question. I call them warm-up games. I call pre-district warm-up games because you're trying to find out who you are. You're trying to find out which team's made out of. You're trying to find out the weaknesses that you have, and then you've got to take those weaknesses in. And I can remember us typing up every player and putting their weaknesses, and every player had like 2 or 3 weaknesses. Handed out those sheets, and every player realized that everyone has weaknesses, and we just started attacking each player's weakness, and the players knew what their weakness was, and that's what pre-district's about, and that's what helped our guys get better.
And the Plainsmen absolutely got better. Went on a 6-game winning streak, won district, and set the foundation for the future. We'll be back Wednesday night on the High School Fan Zone. I'm Randy Rosetta, and this is 100.7 The Score.